Good morning. It's Bernard Nomberg with another weekly edition of NOMBERG Law Live. Today's Monday, so thank you for joining us on a different day. Had some scheduling snafu with the court for tomorrow, but I'm very thankful and happy to be here with my buddy Dan Monroe. Dan's been a longtime friend of mine, and he is such a creative fellow that I thought that he would have some awesome stuff to share with us. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning. It's good to see you, Bernard.
You too.
I don't know how I live up to an introduction like this.
Well,
It's overpromise.
Well, your check is hopefully in the mail,
Yeah.
but Dan is one of the principals with Cayenne Creative Group, a marketing and advertising group that I'm going to let Dan tell you more about in a minute. But the reason why I brought Dan on, other than, in addition to being one of my good buddies, Dan has just tapped into what's going on in Birmingham. And I thought that those of you who live here or want to visit here this summer, there's just so much great stuff that's going on around here that we want to talk about it today. Dan, if you would, tell the folks a little bit about you, tell them who you are, tell them about Cayenne, and let's get going.
All right, wonderful. I'm a Birmingham native. I left here when I graduated from high school in 1978, swore never to come back. And that's why you never swear and you never say never.
That's right.
Came back in 1999 and came back to a city that, honestly, to tell you the truth, felt much the same as it did in 1978 in 99. But since then, it's changed substantially. Formed Cayenne Creative in 2004 with my partners here, and have never looked back. We're a full-service branding and advertising communications firm here in Birmingham, and working with clients all over the place. So it's good to be here.
Well, for those of us in the Birmingham metro area, what are some of the Cayenne works that we may not realize y'all are involved in, but certainly know the products or the companies you deal with?
Absolutely. One of our larger clients is UAB Medicine. We're very proud to work with UAB. I think UAB is one of those resources that people don't realize just how robust our medical support is through UAB. Milo's Hamburgers would be another one that you might have run into. We've been working with those guys for about 5 years now. Those are probably two, Altec Industries. We've done some work with
All
them.
three Birmingham institutions, longtime companies here, and that's great that you guys are working with them.
Well, we love our Birmingham, man.
Well, I know you have many loves, including soccer and all kind of sports, and I see you guys around town we have a history. Our kids went to school together. But Dan, I also know that Pam and you and your son Sam, y'all are out in the community. And there's so much going on in Birmingham. I love what our mayor's doing. I love all of the development of the last 10 years that have been going on downtown. We're both very fortunate to live close to downtown. Let's talk a little bit about what's happening in Birmingham these days. Tell us what you see.
I'm amazed. And the fact is, if you look at the figures, if you look at the data, Birmingham is really not growing. But if you look in your heart, you feel like it is. And I think the reason is that what's going on in Birmingham is young people. And by young, I mean folks from the age of about 22, just out of college, up to about 35 or 40. These are the people that are changing our city. You look at what happened in Avondale, where a couple of brothers started a brewery in a part of town that really needed a lot of help. And boom, it's crazy.
How many restaurants and bars and hot spots are just about 10 blocks from here?
Yeah, 6, 7, 8 restaurants, maybe 3 or 4 bars. Now we've got young folks coming into Woodlawn, transforming Woodlawn. I know of some people who are working very hard in Inslee to bring Inslee up. And I think what's happening, it's very cottage industry-like. It's entrepreneurial in nature. It's not where a big headquarters comes in, like an Amazon, and sets up shop.
And all of these areas, they're not over the mountain. They're not out in the suburbs. This is in the Birmingham downtown footprint area, if you will.
Absolutely.
I've also, your office, your headquarters here is in the Pepper Place, which I don't know if we call this South Side, or how do you describe where we are?
Pepper Place is technically part of the Lakeview neighborhood.
Okay.
And you're going to see, by the way, over the next 5 years, you're going to see the Pepper Place area connect with what we think of as Lakeview, which would be 7th Avenue.
Oh, sure.
in a big way. There's a lot going on right in this neck of the woods. There's a lot going on over in Parkside, which would be near Railroad Park and the Regents Park. There's a lot going on in the entrepreneurial district, which is over where Innovation Depot is. It's crazy. These little hot spots are happening all over the city, and we're reaching tipping points in each one of these neighborhoods, and it's really exciting.
Before I get too far into this, I want to give a shout out. Hey, Ivan. Hey, Matt. Good to see you guys. Susan's there. Mom's there. Thanks for tuning in this morning. I'm talking with my buddy Dan Monroe. Dan is one of the principals here at Cayenne Creative Group, and we're talking about Birmingham. We're talking about the fun stuff that's going on. For example, on a Saturday this time of the year, how many hundreds of people visit the fresh market or whatever?
The market over here.
The weekends are just, you can't find a parking space.
It's crazy. Yeah, we can't even park in our own parking lot when that's going on. It's really exciting. One of the things that you're seeing in Birmingham, and full disclosure, we're working with the Birmingham Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Sure.
And part of what we're talking about with Birmingham is how do we brand Birmingham for tourists? What is that one thing that makes people want to come and spend 2 or 3 or 4 days in Birmingham? And we keep coming around to the same thing, and that's food.
I was going to say, who was here just this past weekend?
Yeah,
and Andrew Zimmern and his awesome following and group. He's been here, 3 times now. He loves Birmingham. He goes to all the big restaurants. Faux pas on my part. Highlands was just received the ultimate award for the best restaurant, I think, in the country. You've got the Barons that are going on. They just had the Rickwood Classic. In 2 weeks, they've got the Southern League All-Star Game that's coming on. The Pizzitz Food Hall is booming.
We just hosted the U.S. Women's Open.
That's right. That's right.
The largest women's golf tournament in the world, arguably, definitely in this country. And we just hosted it down south of town at Shoal Creek. So the kinds of things that are happening in Birmingham are just very exciting.
It really kind of sneaks up on you a little bit. Those of us who live here, we all know about Topgolf, and it's just a couple of miles. It's downtown in what they call, I think, the Uptown District. There's a bunch of restaurants, the Sheridan, and those things. And I don't know if there's another Topgolf in the state, maybe up in Huntsville.
I think there is one in Huntsville, but I've talked to some folks who talk to the owners of Topgolf, and they say that Birmingham has outperformed even their wildest expectations.
People in Alabama love their sports.
We do,
and it's combining
and
food.
Our food.
I was going to say combining food and sports. What better can you get around here?
It's both. Hit golf balls and have nice food.
That's right.
Man, it doesn't get better.
We also now have a professional soccer team here, and I know that's one of your loves.
It is one of my loves, and I haven't been out to see those guys yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes.
And I'm hoping that we get the stadium built downtown that for the different sports, UAB, the soccer, et cetera.
I think that's going to happen. I really do, Bernard. That's I think it's just a matter of time. In the meantime, between now and then, 2019, we're going to see those bridges come down of 2059, and I think as residents of our city, we need to communicate a positive note to our visitors that, hey, that's a temporary result of being a growing city.
The downtown, what Dan's talking about is our downtown highway system that cuts through the heart of downtown near the Civic Center and the business district. Is going through a revitalization, so it's even worse than normal traffic flow, but hopefully in the next year or 2 or 3, that'll be completely a much better situation. In case you're just joining us, I've got my buddy Dan Monroe with Cayenne Creative Group. Dan and his partners here are involved with several of the business institutions here doing work for them, and they've got their hands really on the pulse of what's going on in Birmingham. Hey, Jason, good to see you, bud. Thanks for tuning in for a minute. Dan, where can folks go to find out what's going on in Birmingham? Where online would you suggest that if you want to come to Birmingham and plan a trip, where are some places to start looking?
Yeah, you want to go to the Birmingham Convention and Visitors Bureau's website, which is, I think, in birmingham.com. I should know that by heart by now.
And we'll put that in the comment section when we finish here.
That's if you're planning a trip, or if you have a friend who's planning a trip, that's where you want to start. If you're just if you're from around here, you just want to know what's going on, that's also a great place, a great resource. Birmingham 365 is also a really good one. And if that doesn't answer the question, just grab the nearest millennial and ask them what's going on here in Birmingham.
That's right.
There,
And
they'll let you know.
And if you want to visit, I'm going to put Dan on the spot for just a second, but if you want to visit and you've gone through all the websites, you've looked at all the places that have the better PR, there are still those restaurants and those little quiet places that are not on the map. And I've got one in mind in Homewood that's been a long-time staple, fun place for us to go for Italian food, and that's Da Vinci's. And it's been there for a few decades, and not many people know about it, but it is fantastic food.
Yeah.
Where's a place that you know of that you and Pam or you like to visit that really isn't out there on the board, but it's a local place that folks know?
Yeah. So that's interesting because I'm all over the place with that. One of the new ones that has come up that we love is called the Filling Station over in Crestwood.
Oh, great place.
Good salads, good pizza. But I tell you what's interesting about Birmingham is, yes, we've got the whole James Beard thing because really sort of the godfather of Birmingham's cuisine, Frank Stitt, who finally,
That's right.
always the bridesmaid,
That's
finally
right.
the bride.
That's right.
Got the James Beard Award. Frank has populated our city with these wonderful chefs who've all worked for him.
It's like his version of a coaching tree.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
One of his, Sue's Dean Robb, is getting ready to open up right over next to us. But all of those fancy, really nice places aside, you would be stunned to know all of the other kinds of places that we have here in our city. Soul food restaurants. Go down to Mr. Z's over in the Civil Rights District and try a bean pie.
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing that people don't realize, is that the breadth of our cuisine is remarkable.
Yeah, Mr. Z's, there's several historic businesses down there. You get your hair cut, you can go to the Carver Theater, and all of that's within a couple of blocks of the Civil Rights Institute, the 16th Street Church, as well as Lynn Park and that whole historic district.
That's and really that's a must see. You really need to do that. And when you mentioned Homewood, I thought you were going to say Nabil's.
another great place.
You know?
Another great place to go, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, I appreciate you giving us a few minutes this morning. We're
Absolutely.
talking about all things Birmingham. If you want to get in touch with Dan to find out what Cayenne does or about what Dan's knowledge is about the city, we'll also put Dan's contact information in the comments. And for those of you watching later on, just please come back. We appreciate you a few minutes. Dan, I sure appreciate you seeing me and coming and letting me come into your space here. This is such a neat place, as you'd expect for a creative group. Guys, this will finish us for the day. I hope you are able to join us again next Tuesday. Hopefully we won't have a court conflict next Tuesday. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.